My wife tried to give me panty water so I would forgive her infidelity. But when I reported her for attempted poisoning, she said she just wanted to win me back. I have been married to Mariana for 4 years. We have a young son. My job has allowed me to give my family some financial stability, and, with the arrival of our son, I made a decision that today I do not know if it was an act of love or a big mistake. I asked Mariana to stop working so she could stay home and take care of the baby. It was not an imposition, she accepted. In fact, at first she was grateful. She had always worked and quitting was a drastic change, but I was convinced that, at least during our son's first few years, it was the best. And for a while it was, or at least I thought so. Things started to change a few months ago. Mariana no longer had the same patience as before. She complained about everything. If I arrived 5 minutes late, she would hurl reproaches at me. She said she was tired of being cooped up, of feeling invisible, of not being herself. I tried to understand her. I even offered her psychological support if she needed it. But over time I understood that it was not that. There was something more. Until one day something happened that left a mark on me that will never be erased. It was a little over 4 months ago. Mariana told me she was going to see her mother. The lady is elderly and has almost no mobility. For a long time, she has had a nurse who takes care of her because she cannot manage on her own. Mariana went to visit her every week. That time she told me she would take advantage of the afternoon to take her some things and spend time with her. I had no objection. I even thought it was a good idea. But as she was leaving, I felt the urge to go too. It had been a while since I had seen my mother-in-law. I always liked her. She was a simple woman, strong-willed but affectionate with our son, and always grateful to me. Sometimes, on special occasions, she would call me just to tell me she was thankful for me taking care of her daughter. So I decided to surprise her. I stopped by a store, bought her some sugar-free cookies that I know she likes, and some flowers for her table. It was not much, but I wanted to pay her a kind visit. Besides, I could return with Mariana on the way. What could go wrong? I have a key to the house for emergencies. I am one of the contacts registered by the nurse in case they cannot reach Mariana someday. So, without making a sound, I opened the door intending to surprise them. But I was the one who was surprised. The first thing I saw was my mother-in-law at the door, outside, with her blanket and her chair, shivering from the cold. Her gaze was lost, as if she did not quite know what she was doing there. My heart stopped. "Ma'am, what are you doing outside?" I approached immediately. She did not answer. She just looked at me with those glassy eyes. Her blanket was poorly placed, and she seemed to have been there for quite some time. I was filled with rage. I thought the nurse had been irresponsible, that maybe she had left her alone to go who knows where. I took out my phone, ready to call her, when I heard a noise inside the house. Then I walked inside. I was not prepared for what I was about to see. There was no way. The lady's bedroom door was ajar. I heard laughter, and then the typical sound of a mattress moving. In my head I thought, it cannot be. I approached, and there was the scene. Mariana, my wife, in her mother's bed with another guy, naked, in the middle of the act. I dropped the bag of cookies. I do not remember screaming. I only know I felt a mixture of rage, sadness, and an indescribable disgust, not only for what they were doing, but for the audacity. How can you leave your elderly mother outside, alone in the cold, to get involved with a guy in her own bed? That is when I exploded. "What the hell are you doing?" I shouted. Mariana covered herself immediately. The guy stood up in shock. "It is not what you think." Mariana shouted. "Where's the nurse? Where is the person who is supposed to take care of your mother? Why is she outside alone?" She did not know what to say. She stammered something about it not being for long, that it was just a moment, that the nurse had left for a while, and she replaced her. "And this is how you replace her?" I shouted at her, taking her out into the cold, as if she were an old piece of furniture. "She is your mother, Mariana. My mother died years ago, and you still have yours, and you treat her like this." I could not keep looking at her. I could not even look at her. I ran out, helped Mrs. Louisa inside, took her to her armchair, adjusted her blanket properly. I called the nurse, told her to come back immediately. At that moment, Mariana appeared behind me, wrapped in a sheet. "Can we talk, please? Do not make a scene," she begged me. I did not answer her. I did not even look at her. I just grabbed my keys, went out the door, and got into the car. She came running, banged on the window. Her eyes were tearful. "We can fix this." I swear it was a mistake. I was confused. This means nothing. I did not answer. I started the car. She kept running next to the car as I was leaving the parking lot. I left her behind. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing still on the sidewalk, naked under her mother's sheet, watching me drive away. After what I saw that afternoon, I knew there was nothing to talk about with Mariana. The image of her in that bed with another man, while her mother shivered from the cold at the door, would not leave my head. It disgusted me, yes, but it also enraged me. Not only did she betray me as a partner, but she was capable of using me, of mocking me, and of leaving her mother as if she were an old piece of furniture just to satisfy her lust. I could not understand it. That night, I kicked Mariana out of the house, literally. I told her to grab her things and leave. She cried, begged me to listen to her, but there was no discussion. I did not allow her to take our son. She ended up moving in with her mother. The ironic part of all this is that, for over a year, I had been the one covering almost all of her mother's expenses. Mariana had not worked since our son was born. Her mother had a minimal pension, and the nurse who took care of her was hired thanks to me. I paid for that nurse, the medicines, even the groceries. I did it because I felt it was the right thing to do. She was my son's grandmother, my wife's mother, a sick woman who was not at fault for anything. But after what I saw, I needed to understand if that had legal consequences. That is why I consulted a lawyer. I told him everything, about the infidelity, about the mother outside, the bed, and that I was the one paying for the nurse and the basic expenses of that house. The lawyer was clear. Legally, if you are the one financially supporting that person and she was put in a situation of abandonment for personal purposes, it can be considered negligence or even abuse by omission. It does not depend so much on her being your mother-in-law, but on the bond of dependence. And even if I am not her son? I asked. You are listed as an emergency contact. You finance her medical care and live with her daughter. In the event of a formal complaint or an investigation by social services, your testimony would carry a lot of weight, especially if you have photos, records, or witnesses of the situation. I told him that I was not planning to report her for that, at least not for now, but it became clear to me that this incident could play in my favor in the divorce. So we started the process. The following days were tense. Mariana had left, but the house was not at peace. My son missed her, asked about her. Despite everything, I did not want my hatred for his mother to turn into rejection towards him. I treated him with affection, with patience, although inside I myself was processing a storm. And it was in that context that I received her call. I want us to talk, Mariana told me in a voice that tried to sound calm. Like civilized people. For our son, for what we had. What for? I replied. Is everything not already said? No, it is not said. We need to talk about the separation, about what you are going to do with the divorce, what you are going to say, the conditions. I do not want any more fights. And since when do you want to avoid fights? I said sarcastically. Please, it is just a conversation, in a neutral place. At my mom's house. That was what caught my attention the most. After what happened there, I hesitated. What if she wanted to provoke me, record me, look for some kind of emotional reaction? But in the end I accepted. I went one afternoon. I left our son with my sister to avoid exposing him. When I arrived, the nurse opened the door for me. Mrs. Luisa was in her armchair, watching television. I greeted them both as if nothing was wrong. I went to Mariana, who was waiting for me in the kitchen. Thank you for coming, she told me with a tense smile. We sat at the dining room table. We talked, or rather, she talked. She tried to justify herself, told me that what had happened was a mistake, that the guy was someone she had talked to years ago, that she felt lonely, that she did not want to lose me, that she got carried away for a moment. I am not interested in your story, I told her. I came because I want this to end quickly. I am processing the divorce. I just want to agree on the terms and make it clear that I do not want problems because of our son. Mariana changed her tone, became soft, even sweet. I made you some tea so you can relax a bit. I want us to talk calmly, she told me. No, it is okay. Thank you, I replied without enthusiasm. It is warm. Drink it before it gets cold. She brought me a cup. It smelled strange. She left it in front of me and continued talking about lawyers, papers, visits. But every so often she insisted. Do not forget your little tea. If it gets cold, it is not the same. Later, I told her, uncomfortable. No, seriously, drink it now. It will do you good, she insisted. At that moment, something lit up in my head. I could not stop thinking about her tone, her insistence, and the cup. Something gave me a bad feeling. It was not normal. Mariana never made me tea, and now she seemed more interested in me drinking it than in talking about the divorce. What the hell is in this? Does she want to poison me or drug me? I thought. I stood up. Sorry, I am going to the bathroom. She nodded without saying anything. But I did not go to the bathroom. I went to the kitchen. I searched quickly. I did not want her to notice my absence. I opened the lid of the pot on the stove, and what I saw left me paralyzed. A mixture of herbs floating and, in the middle of it all, a pair of Mariana's panties. I knew them well. They were hers without a doubt. They were boiled, soaked, mixed with dried flowers, fruit peels, and something I could not identify. The steam rose with a strange smell, not unpleasant, but definitely disturbing for something I was supposedly supposed to drink. I stood there for a few seconds, in shock. I could not believe this was real, that after everything she had done, Mariana really thought the solution was to make me drink an infusion with her boiled underwear, as if that could reverse her betrayal. Then I noticed something else. On the marble, next to the stove, was her tablet with the screen active, a YouTube video paused. Infallible panty water to tie down your man. I approached without a second thought. She had crossed the line of privacy a long time ago. If she was going to do something as sick as this, I had the right to know what else she was hiding. I opened WhatsApp, went into the pinned chat. I only needed to read the last few messages to confirm what I suspected. It was the lover. His contact name was just an initial, but the content said it all. The last message she had received from him said, "Give it to him without fear. That will tie him down for sure. You act repentant, cry a little. As long as he does not suspect anything, we continue as we are." Further down, another message, "I do not want you to leave him. If he calms down and forgives you, it is better. You with him, and me with you. And if you can also get some money out of him, even better for us." And another one, completely unfiltered, "That fool will continue to put up with everything. Do not play the saint. You know this suits us both." I had to swallow out of repulsion. It was not just that Mariana had cheated on me. It was that she and her lover were conspiring to manipulate me, control me, and continue with their affair while I kept paying for everything. House, son, medicines, even her mother's nurse. It was a strategy, a plan, a let us calm him down with cheap witchcraft, cry to him a little, and get as much out of him as possible. I could not believe it. Mariana, my wife, the mother of my son, after cheating on me, now she wanted me to drink that? For what? To control me? To make me forget? Did she think a ridiculous ritual would erase my memory? I felt a knot in my stomach. I took out my cell phone, took photos, videos, recorded everything. The pot, the panties, the video on the screen, the steam from the infusion. I opened the lid of the cup she had left me on the table and compared it. Same color, same smell. Confirmed. I returned to the living room with the cell phone in my hand. "Do you want to explain this to me?" Mariana went blank. The cell phone screen showed a photo of the pot. "That is not what you think." "No, then what is it? A new method of reconciliation? Were you going to bewitch me now?" "It is a ritual," she stammered. "It is something I saw. It does not do any harm. It is symbolic. I want us to be okay again. I do not want to lose you. After sleeping with another man, you want me to drink your underwear boiled with flowers? How sick do you have to be?" She started to cry, to say that she was desperate, that she loved me, that it was a mistake, that she did not want the relationship to be destroyed. I could not even look at her anymore. This is not love. It is disgusting. It is pathetic. And it is enough for no one to believe you when you say that I was the one who ruined this. I stood up. I did not even grab the cup. I walked to the door. "Listen to me carefully. Now I have everything I need. Do not call me again. My lawyer will contact you." I left the house. I went straight to my lawyer's office with all the evidence. I was not upset anymore. The only thing left was a sense of absurdity that made me laugh. Because yes, as painful as all this was at the beginning, now every time I remember Mariana insisting that I drink my little hot tea, I feel like bursting out laughing. And the best part is that I am not the only one. When I showed the videos and photos to the lawyer, he was silent for a few seconds, then he laughed. "Look, in my 20 years of experience I have seen all kinds of crazy things. People faking illnesses, false DNA, or blackmail with children. But this," he said, pointing to the photo of the boiled panties, "this is new. It is on another level." I explained everything. How I discovered it, Mariana's attempt to convince me it was something harmless, her desperate attitude for me to drink it. "Can we use this to our advantage?" I asked him. Of course, this is evidence of disturbed behavior. It is not just that she was unfaithful to you. It is that she tried to manipulate you emotionally and chemically. And she did it after having put her elderly mother at risk. This speaks of imbalance, instability, a total lack of judgment. If we present it well, we can use it for three things: to justify a separation without dividing assets, to obtain preferential custody of your son, and to limit her contact with you if there are future risks. Then I want to get as much as possible, I told him. I want her not to see a cent, nothing. And if we can, for the judge to take note of everything. And that is how we began the final stage of the divorce. With all the evidence, the video of the tea, the screenshots of the YouTube video, Mariana's insistent messages, and even the context of her mother's abandonment, there was no doubt about who had caused the breakup or what kind of person I was facing. But there was something I did not want to let go. Despite everything that had happened, I decided to do something that I think very few people would have done. I filed a complaint with the Vulnerable Persons Protection Agency because her mother did not deserve that. An elderly woman, dependent on medical care, exposed to the cold and abandoned at her doorstep while her daughter was having sex in her bed. The complaint was taken seriously. Since I covered the medical expenses financially, and since I had photos of the moment I found her outside, added to the history of the relationship, an investigation was opened. I cannot go into many details, but I can tell you that Mariana lost control of her mother's legal care. From then on, the lady was officially placed under professional supervision, with restricted visits, and everything related to her care became coordinated by a medical entity that reports to the state. This was a blow to Mariana, one she did not expect, because no matter how much she cried or tried to play the role of a repentant daughter, the facts spoke for themselves. As for the divorce, the outcome was better than I imagined. With all the evidence presented, the judge not only rejected any financial claim from Mariana, but also granted me shared custody with a flexible arrangement in my favor. That is, the child stays with me most of the time, and she can only see him at pre-established times, with clear conditions and zero unnecessary contact with me. The judge even noted that the attempt at manipulation with an unidentified drink was an unusual and alarming event, and that this raised concerns about Mrs. Mariana's emotional and mental state. None of this was exaggerated. Everything was based on evidence, on her own actions. Since then, my life has improved a lot. I have peace of mind again. I am reconnecting with my son, who already seems more cheerful, calmer. I have rebuilt the routine at home, and, although I still have to deal with paperwork, scheduled visits, and some uncomfortable glances from neighbors who found out about everything, I feel good. And Mariana has not stopped looking for me. Calls, messages, emails. Some days she acts repentant, other days she insults me, says it was not a big deal, that I exaggerated everything, that the tea was just a joke, that it was nonsense, that she does not understand why I painted her as a crazy person. Every time she writes to me, I ignore her. I cannot find another word. What she did is so absurd that I cannot even take it seriously. I laugh. I laugh a lot, because there is no witchcraft, no ritual, no desperate love that justifies something like that. It was not an accident. It was a chain of stupid, cruel, and selfish decisions. And she paid for it. Community, if I learned anything from this, it is that you never know what the person sleeping next to you is capable of. You think you know someone, and one day, without warning, you realize that your life has turned into a story that no one would believe if you did not have proof. I have it, and, thanks to that, I am fine now.